As if today wasn't already feral enough, Edgar has done something else. Bring extra coffee. I came home from the alleged vacation braced for disaster. There wasn't one. No one had died, nothing had exploded, the house didn't smell like anything it shouldn't, and the pet sitter actually survived. There was luggage everywhere, obviously, and some of it is still sitting there staring at me with judgment, but I was home. And then Boof lost her ever-loving mind. More on that in a minute. Because first, as many of you know, vacation tired is not normal tired. Normal tired says go to bed early. Vacation tired says you may need 3 to 5 business days to re-enter your own life. But still, I was home, and home had a few things to say about how long I'd been gone. The pet sitter told me everything had gone great. Her daughters, she said, were actually sad they wouldn't get to see the animals every day anymore, which was sweet, but also suspicious because I know these animals, and everything went great from a woman who doesn't have to live here long term is not the same as everything went great from someone who does. Boof greeted us like we'd returned from a 10-year war. Full-body Aussie chaos, spinning, whining, launching herself at us like we were bowling pins. Her head operating on one brain while her entire back half had clearly formed its own independent government. "Where in the Hades have y'all been? And why did you leave me with strangers? They only came by twice a day to make sure I remained alive." She had feelings. Mr. Darcy barely looked up. I mean, he's 17, and he's not about to get emotional over our leaving him for a few days. As far as he was concerned, if the food had been served and laps had been available, the household had functioned within acceptable parameters. Then the pet sitter mentioned, almost as an aside, that Edgar had taken to snuggling with Boof. "I'm sorry, with the dog?" "That's where we left him today," she said. It was really sweet, actually. That's how far this cat had fallen. Snuggling the dog for comfort. When Edgar heard us come in, he assumed the strangers were back. He'd had several days of unfamiliar people in his space, bearing food bribes and unwanted affection, and he was done negotiating with hostile forces. He went straight into hiding. I found him under a table. "Edgar?" That's when he realized it was me. He came out slowly, sniffing around like a cat clearing a room, checking every corner for strangers before he'd fully commit to being seen. "Mama? Is that you?" Once he confirmed it was just me, Dave, and Piper, no strangers, no bribes, you could watch him physically relax. And for the next few days, his appetite was off. He ate some, but not like normal. It was like his mind was elsewhere. Turns out, he didn't want food. He wanted lap time. Once I'd survived the luggage explosion and the general re-entry nonsense, I finally sat down. Edgar climbed straight into my lap like he'd finally found what he'd been looking for all week. He purred, longer and louder than normal, like he'd been saving it all up while I was gone. He kneaded and drooled, and he let me pet him far past his usual limit, which was suspicious, but effective. And that's when I realized this menacing, spoiled, rotten cat had missed me, just as much as I missed him, if not more. Of course, when Mr. Darcy saw this, he also decided he wanted lap time, because Mama's lap had become contested emotional real estate. For one brief, miraculous moment, both cats sat in my lap together. No hissing or biting, 10 whole minutes of peace in the kingdom. Unfortunately, Mr. Darcy chose that moment to settle himself directly on the blanket. Not a blanket, The blanket, the one where Edgar needs, drools, and considers himself sole proprietor. The one that belongs to him and Mama, and as far as he's concerned, absolutely no one else. Mr. Darcy had violated the secret cat code of conduct. The treaty collapsed immediately, and what followed were two very compelling legal arguments. Mr. Darcy took the seniority approach. 17 years of tenure. Prior claim to the household. He was here first, and he intended to sit wherever his aging fluffy bottom desired. Seniority, my boy. It isn't personal. Edgar took the emotional damages approach. Abandoned for days, left in the custody of strangers and a dog, forced to snuggle Boof out of sheer loneliness. And now this. His blanket occupied without so much as a hearing. Excuse me, this is mine and Mama's blanket. Get your tail off it. Both arguments had merit. Neither party would yield. I remained the defendant in both cases, still trapped beneath them. So that was re-entry. No real disaster unless you count one senior citizen getting ambushed over a blanket. And Edgar filing an emergency claim on behalf of himself and his beloved snuggle blanket. He missed me. He wouldn't admit it. But that chocolate criminal could not hide it. And the next time he acts like Mama is beneath his notice, I may just remind him that I could always leave him again with the strangers.